So we are starting from that point. The soldier is enjoying a peaceful rest in a picturesque valley. The valley is covered with flowers. Flowers bloom in abundance in the valley, and the soldier's smile is pure and innocent, just like that of a child. The poet appeals to nature to keep the soldier warm, because as he is lying on the ground, he may catch cold. Now we are coming to the last stanza of the poem, the last part of the sestet, because this is a sonnet, and here the octave or the first 8 lines has been divided into 2 stanzas, and the sestet, that means the last 6 lines, has been divided into 2 stanzas, each consisting of 3 lines. So we are coming to the last stanza. The humming insects don't disturb his rest. The insects produce a humming sound. Actually, the insects do not produce the sound. The movement of their wings produce this sound. When the insects move about, when the insects fly, a humming sound is produced because of the movement of their wings. And this sound is disturbing. Generally, it disturbs the sleep. But in this case, the readers find that it is very odd that the humming insects do not fail to disturb the rest of the sleeping soldier. He sleeps in sunlight, one hand on his breast. The poet gives a vivid description of the sleeping soldier. The soldier's one hand is resting on his chest, and he is lost in deep slumber. He seems to be lost in peaceful sleep in the sunlight, at peace, and the soldier seems to enjoy a peaceful rest. In his side there are 2 red holes. The rude shock comes in the last line of the poem. The sleeping soldier has 2 red holes on his side. What are these 2 red holes? These 2 red holes depict bullet wounds. That means the sleeping soldier is dead. He is a casualty of war. Now the entire thing changes. What was looking like a picturesque valley now looks like a killing field. যেটাকে মনে হচ্ছিল ছবির মতো সুন্দর উপত্যকা, এখন বোঝা যাচ্ছে সেটা মারণ ক্ষেত্র. It is a battlefield, and the soldier who seemed to enjoy a peaceful slumber is actually dead. He has been killed ruthlessly. He has been murdered cruelly. War has taken away his life, because in his side there are 2 red holes. 2 bullet wounds can be found on his side. So by creating this rude shock, the poet makes us aware of the horrors of war. War is an unmitigated evil. War is nothing but bloodshed. War is a ruthless carnage of man by man. যুদ্ধ হলো মানুষ কর্তৃক মানুষের নৃশংস হত্যাকাণ্ড. A young soldier in the prime of his youth has been killed. This young soldier might have many potentials. তার মধ্যে হয়তো অনেক সম্ভাবনা ছিল. Because man is a sum total of many potentials. He might have been a great poet. He might have been a great scientist. He might have been a great leader. Instead, what has happened? In the prime of his youth, his life has been snuffed out by war. So now we understand the horrors of war. Actually, by creating this contrast, by describing the picturesque valley, and by then describing the dead soldier, the poet brings out the horrors of war. So now the valley, which looked like a peaceful haven, Now we find that it is nothing but a bloody battlefield, and every poem's name is very significant. Here the name of the poem is Asleep in the Valley. Asleep. Here the term asleep is significant. Here sleep means eternal sleep. The soldier is actually dead, because death is also a kind of sleep. Death is eternal sleep. And here the soldier is lost in eternal sleep. He is not lost in a peaceful slumber. Actually, he is dead. So by using the word asleep, the poet actually brings out the contradiction between the picturesque valley and the stern reality behind it. একদিকে ছবির মতো সুন্দর উপত্যকা, তার পেছনে রয়েছে কঠোর সত্য. The stern reality is the killing of the soldier. So that is why the name of the poem is Asleep in the Valley, because with the help of this title, the poet has brought about a very significant contradiction between the description of the picturesque valley and the description of the dead soldier, which actually tells us about the horrors of war. So now we understand that it is an anti-war poem, and now we understand something about Rameau's stand on war. যুদ্ধের বিষয়ে Rameau's অবস্থান কি ছিল আমরা বুঝতে পারছি. Rameau as a soldier, just like Owen or Siegfried Sassoon, the war poets, he had also come face to face with the terrible horrors and cruelties of war. সৈনিক হিসেবে Rameau যুদ্ধের বিভৎসতার মুখোমুখি হয়েছিলেন, and he looked upon war as nothing but an evil perpetrated on mankind. এটা হচ্ছে মানুষের উপর চাপিয়ে দেওয়া একটা অভিশাপ, because war means the bloodshed of innocent people. War means killing of hundreds and thousands of young men. War does not bring about anything constructive. War only destroys. And that is why Owen, the famous war poet, once wrote, "My subject is war, the pity of war." The pity. Pity here means all the sorrows and all the wickedness associated with war. That was the subject of Owen's poems, and that is also the subject or central idea of this poem. Here also the subject is the pity of war, the fruitlessness of war, the futility of war. যুদ্ধের নিষ্ফলতা ফুটে উঠেছে. War is nothing but an ugly intrusion on man's life. এটা মানুষের জীবনে সাংঘাতিকভাবে একটা আক্রমণ, and it is also an ugly intrusion on the beauty of nature. The picturesque valley full of natural beauty has been contaminated by war. এই সুন্দর উপত্যকা যার মধ্যে প্রাকৃতিক সৌন্দর্য রয়েছে, যুদ্ধের বিভৎসতা তাকে দূষিত করেছে. So war not only snuffs out life, war is also an intrusion on the beauty of nature. The picturesque valley, which looked like a peaceful heaven, now becomes actually a killing field. So this poem brings out the horrors of war, and with the help of this poem, Rameau has pointed out how war destroys mankind. So we have finished this poem, and we will discuss the questions and answers. So try to understand this poem. If you have any problem, we will discuss it in our next class. Thank you.